Hello, I'm Quinny. Welcome to the channel. Got a little sneaky one for you today, guys. Like I mentioned in the last couple of content we've been dropping, we're just doing a little little taster menu special, I suppose, on the Europa Conference League. In the recent AMA, they basically said that they're in discussions with Opta to get this into SO5 scoring, and this would be a great I just thought this would be a great opportunity to do a little video and just see what could be down the pipeline for us. Like, subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys, and let's get stuck into it. Now, I'll link this article from UEFA in the description down below in case you want to go read it for yourself and get a bit more detail than what I'm discussing today. First of all, what a sick trophy! You know, I love the colour pattern. Europa League is like a kind of orangey yellow and black, and this is a nice sexy green with black. So I actually wouldn't be disappointed to see Celtic lift this. I would be disappointed that we qualified for it, but if we were on to win it, that would be pretty sweet as well. Now, like I said, this will be linked in the description down below, so you can go check out the table and the full kind of standings and all that kind of stuff. But there's a lovely little summary here, okay? It's a 32 team competition. 17 teams will qualify through the main path, and 5 teams will qualify through their champions path. Now, the champions path is like team. I don't know exactly the competitions, right? But it's going to be like the San Marino champions, the Faroe Islands champions, the Luxembourg. You know, the clubs that are so small that when they go into Champions League qualification, it's not even. You know, it's not even really much of a win for them winning their league because they just get pumped out straight away. So this should give them something. And then we'll also have 10 teams that qualify for this that are eliminated from the Europa League playoffs. Now, at point of recording, this is the 21st of July. The round of Champions League qualifiers we have at the moment, those losers will drop down into the Europa League qualification playoff. And if they lose that game, then they end up in the group stages here. Now, the Champions League stage we're at the moment, anyone who progresses and then falls at the next hurdle, they get parachuted straight in to the Europa League group stages. Okay, so we have to be paying attention a little bit to the Champions League qualifiers in this round. We've got Celtic against Midtjylland, we've got Galatasaray PSV. There's another couple of ones that maybe don't really affect SO5 too much, but a few to consider. And then, yeah, the Europa League qualifiers, any teams that we have in that as well, obviously. Leading up to the next round, something to be mindful of. Now, the calendar for this actually runs parallel to the Champions League and the Europa League. The group stages will start on the 27th of August and they'll run all the way through to the beginning of December, just the same as we're familiar with Champions League. And then the final itself will run, the competition will run with the final being played on the 25th of May in Tirana, which is in Albania. So, like I say, you might be forgiven for missing this competition. It is only going to be running, it says here, for a 3-season cycle. It's a bit of a test. The winner of this competition, whoever goes all the way to actually win the thing, will get Europa League group stage qualification if they do not qualify for the Champions League through their domestic competition. We have 4 teams that haven't actually hit the qualification circuit yet, and that's Rennes, Roma, Tottenham and Berlin, but they will need to play a playoff to enter the competition. That must be said. And then we've got a bunch of our teams. I had flash scores open and I was looking at that, but this is a much easier page to kind of get a good synopsis of the calibre of clubs available. So we've got Anderlecht, we've got Feyenoord in here as well, and we've got Vitesse. They're the 3 main clubs for us in SoRare that have a licence and have a full complement of cards. A bunch of these other teams have a card here and there. We've also got Ghent, who has a full licence also from the Jupiler League. But I'm thinking like Hibs, I've got a midfielder from Hibs. The Sochi are here. I used to have a midfielder from Sochi. Jairzinho's got a Dynamo Moscow card. And I'm sure if you really went right through this, you might find there are a couple of others. Guys who went on loan to Belgium for 1 year, like a season or 2 ago or whatever. But there is some decent calibre, like rural territory European clubs here, you know. So I'm actually quite looking forward to this from an SO5 perspective as well as a real world competition perspective. We've got Aberdeen that might get qualified for this. We've got Athens, we've got Basel. You know what I mean? Astana, Shakhtar Karaganda, Steaua Bucharest, Hibs. You know, there's some decent sized teams here. You know, Maccabi Tel Aviv, Hapoel Beersheva. Santa Clara is an interesting one. This is basically like the unofficial Benfica B team. Benfica have an official B team, but this Santa Clara is kind of like also a little Benfica team. So you will notice that Benfica will send guys on loan to this team, and if they get into the group stages of the European competition, that could be massive. So do keep your eyes open for that. But yeah, it's a really interesting competition. I really do want to go into this in a bit more detail when we get, number 1, the group stages drawn, and number 2, we get some confirmation from SoRare that it is going to be scored. But because this is going to be running parallel to the Europa League and the Champions League, you know, some of these teams might be the plum fixtures. You know, if Feyenoord get a group, let's have a look at the teams again, right? Let's say Feyenoord get, or even Roma, right? Let's say Roma and Jose. Jose loves European football and he'll love Roma. It's probably one of the reasons he went to Roma. He would probably love to be the first winner of this. That's the kind of guy Jose Mourinho is. So let's say it's Roma in a group, and let's say they've got, like, I don't know, let's pick an okay team from this run here. Let's say they've got Pacos Ferreira, who are a decent little Portuguese team, and then out of here, let's just pick two teams at random, or one from this side. So let's say they get Ljubljana from Slovenia, and then let's say they got St Joseph's of Gibraltar. You know, Roma will be wiping the floor with these teams. Same with Rennes, Tottenham, and maybe Union Berlin as well. But I'd fancy the likes of Anderlecht, Feyenoord, Vitesse, Ghent, you know, the teams we have, to get a good run in the group stages here. Now, this layout that I've got here isn't too indicative of who is actually been eliminated and who is still progressing within the competition. Now, it is a little early in the day, if you like, to be going out and actually strategising. This is the live table, okay, so we're looking at the quarterfinals onwards, the teams that are still involved, okay. It is a bit early in the day to be going out and buying cards specifically for this competition, in my opinion, because we don't know if it will be scored, number one, okay, and that is a big thing. If it doesn't get scored, then it's fucking pointless, you know. But if you have cards already that could be active in this competition, they are ones to maybe re-evaluate and maybe be a bit more patient and wait for that news to come. In particular, like the Ghents and the Santa Claras, and like the Vitesse, Feyenoord, these types of guys. Do I have any Aberdeen cards on the platform? I don't think so. Rubin Kazan, we might get a license for them soon, and there's another Russian team in here as well, I think, or is it Trabzonspor from Turkey? So there's a few teams in here that might get their own licenses organically. We are waiting on, there will be two new leagues coming to SoRare from the AMA, as you'll know. One is currently scored by SO5 and one currently is not. So there might be a whole other pantheon of clubs that become viable for European competition to us if these leagues are even European based, you know. But I think this will be a competition, if we get it scored, it will be maybe the midweek buster, you know, when rather than it being dominated by PSG, Bayern, Juve, Real Madrid, Atleti, these teams, we're maybe looking at Feyenoord and going, oh well, Feyenoord are in a group with Bohemian and they're in a group with Hammarby, you know, and all these kind of guys, and they're going to absolutely run them into the ground, you would think, and they maybe be winning 5-6-0 through the group stages. And then when it gets to the meaty stage, you know, when it gets to the knockout rounds and whatever, you get less matches, you know, once we get to February, March, midweek for the Champions League and whatever. But again, if the quarterfinal is Roma versus, I don't know, let's just say Ghent, then, you know, that'll be a great fixture for Roma, and they'll probably outscore the Bayern Munich cards and the PSG cards, depending on the individual draws that are made, you know, the actual form everyone's in, etc., you know. But it's definitely one I would be keeping my mind on. It's something I would be definitely watching out for. In terms of the Champions League qualifiers, like I said earlier in the video, the guys that get eliminated at this round, and in the final Europa League qualification round, the guys that fall at that hurdle, I would definitely, if you are opening your mind and trying to think, right, okay, well, who could I be looking at? Who should I be thinking about? These are the sort of dynamics I would be assessing at this moment in time. I will do a follow-up video, number one, when we get confirmation that it will be scored, and number two, when the group stages are drawn, because I think that will be when we can properly get our teeth stuck into it. But it was a great tidbit of info that came out of the AMA that I just wanted to do a little expansion video on, and do a video where I can drop that link so you can go and check out the conference for yourself, and, you know, the rules and blah blah blah, so you can make the best decision possible. With these football strategy kind of outfits and games, like, you know, that we've always been involved in the channel, being early is always the most profitable. So if there was a decision you're maybe on the fence about with a Feyenoord or a Vitesse card or whatever, maybe I would say push that button if you're going to buy them anyway before any announcement comes, because when announcements come, that's when dynamics and valuations can change. Hope you've enjoyed this one, guys. Make sure you do like, subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.
It's the time.